Summer is almost here, and Marvel Snap's new season is bringing with it some beach fun that is sure to make an absolute splash on our current metagame. Today, we're going to be diving on into some awesome deck lists for all 3 of the new cards that are going to be launching to kick off this season. Much like our season pass card, Jeff the Baby Dolphin, I'm all dressed up for today's video, so let's go ahead and dive on in the details of everything you need to know. Our 3 new cards to kick off the June season are Jeff the Baby Dolphin, available via the Premium Pass, Venus, available via the Super Premium Pass, as well as in your Seasonal Series 5 Snap Packs, and Monstro, our weekly release, available for 6,000 collector's tokens directly in the shop, as well as your Seasonal Series 5 Snap Pack. Jeff the Baby Dolphin looks like an incredible new 2-energy play in Marvel Snap. Other cards reveal at his location with +1 power, and he's movable all on his own. So not only does he have some really clean deck building synergies that we'll be digging into here in a minute, but just at base rate, if you play him out on turn 2, fill his starting lane up with 3 cards, and then move him somewhere else and fill up that second lane again, he's providing 8 points of power just from playing out regular old Marvel Snap cards, which is pretty solidly above rate for a typical good 2-energy play. Some of Jeff the Baby Dolphin's many synergies include our new card Venus as well here, who is a 3-energy play that says when your cards are empowered, they get an additional +1. This means if you play Venus out after Jeff, he's going to go ahead and give +2 to everything else that reveals in his lane, and because this is a 2 into a 3, these cards curve really organically into each other in the early game. While Monstro doesn't have any direct synergy with our other 2 cards releasing to start the season, it's very interesting in its own right. This 8/8 has its cost reduced by the cost of the top card of your deck, meaning that if you have a 6-energy play on top, this costs just 2 energy. As we just mentioned with Jeff the Baby Landshark, that's solidly above rate, so not only can you be getting something that's potentially really large at a discount, but depending on how your deck is constructed, Monstro can also be providing you with valuable information, letting you know that one of your few more expensive or cheaper cards is on top of your deck, letting you plan out future turns accordingly with this information. Before we dive into some deck list specific for all 3 of these awesome new cards, I'd like to remind everyone, if you plan to pick up the Premium Season Pass for June, make sure you head on over to shop.marvelsnap.com to do so. Picking up your season pass there will mean that you get a bonus Series 5 Snap Pack, giving you some extra value to fill out your Marvel Snap collection for money you were going to be spending anyways. Our first deck list today I wanted to talk about is playing some of my absolutely favorite cards in Marvel Snap, with Jeff the Baby Dolphin joining the likes of Angela, Kraven, and Sam Wilson Captain America as new solid 2-energy plays that scale up the stats that they're making over the course of the game. I really love the Baby Dolphin alongside Angela, where if you get both of these into the same lane, not only are you going to be scaling up Angela, but you'll be making the other cards you play that lane bigger as well. The Baby Dolphin has synergy with the original Jeff, as well as cards like Nightcrawler and Rocket and Groot as well, since you can play those into Jeff's lane and then move them out on their own to wherever the points are going to be best served elsewhere on the board, including scaling up into things like Kraven that rewards you for moving around. All of these cards adding tons of extra points, empowering your plays, make Venus, our super premium pass card here, extra stellar, whether it's Jeff the Baby Dolphin giving +2 or Kraven and Sam Wilson getting +3 as key cards slide into their lanes. Venus seems quite incredible with all of these small scaling threats. We round out the last couple of deck slots here with some interactive elements, things like Cosmo that can protect our cards from opposing things like Shadow King, as well as disrupt big combos like Man Spider and Wong, as well as Stardust to make sure that Hela is not sneaking any tricky things into play against us. Finally, we close out on Scarlet Witch, as being able to interact with location is a great way to mitigate variance and make your decks more consistent in Marvel Snap. Our next home for Jeff the Baby Dolphin is Shu Lao Kitty. Kitty Pryde is one of my all-time favorite Marvel Snap cards, and she has stellar synergy with the Baby Dolphin, since she's bouncing herself to our hand every single turn. As long as we're deploying her into the Baby Dolphin's path, she's getting +2 every time she comes in and out of play. Shulao loves on doubling up buffs in and of itself, so effects like Agony, Maverick, and Scarlet Spider are going to doubly benefit from Jeff the Baby Dolphin, giving them extra points as they take those points and pay them forward in various other ways. Our last few slots here are other cheap cards that can benefit from Jeff the Baby Dolphin, like Nightcrawler, as well as Kate Bishop's many arrows that also make it easy for us to play 2 cards per turn to trigger Shulao the Undying at the top end of our curve in the games where Kitty Pryde is nowhere to be found. Our last callouts worthwhile here are Cosmo for a bit of protection, and Armor, who's excellent not only at disrupting opposing destroy decks, but also making sure that pesky gambits don't blow up our powerful payoffs. Because Jeff the Baby Dolphin excels with cards that can move themselves around, he seems like a natural fit inside of one of the more successful builds that's been doing that in Marvel Snap of late, which is Professor X Galactus variations. Professor X locks a lane down from having other cards added to or played to it directly. However, both players can still move things into his path, meaning if you slam it down and your opponent catches you a little bit off guard, you can make it up after the fact with effects like Nightcrawler and either Jeff slipping in there afterwards. Galactus, fantastic for first steps, is our other finisher here, often making an absolutely massive number in late game to win a second lane after Professor X locks up the first. Moving along to some Venus decks that are not playing Jeff the Baby Dolphin, we kick things off with a Surfer variation that's been a metagame staple since Star-Lord Master of the Sun was added to the game back in February. Venus is a card that feels like she's going to need to be explored, with every single one of the cards that's been nerfed over the years having the amount of power that they provide reduced downward. People have mused at many different points what would happen if Surfer gave +3 again, and with Venus, this dream becomes a reality. Surfer isn't the only thing that Venus provides benefits to here, with Storm, Horseman of Famine also buffing things in play, benefiting from Venus giving those extra stats out. Another top Marvel Snap deck that stands to benefit from Venus's additional scaling is the End of Turn archetype, whether it's Adam Warlock, Fina, and Havoc all getting an additional +1 when they scale up at End of Turn, or Fantastic giving +3 instead of +2 to all of your End of Turn effects when you activate it. Venus stands to add a lot of additional points to the board in this archetype, letting it scale up even harder than it already does. Moving along to some Monstro deck ideas for the season, we have a ramp variation where it seems like it's a really organic fit, and an incredible high roll if Fin Fang Foom is lurking on the top of your deck on the first turn. Monstro could be a 1/8, but more consistently, you're going to be able to play him out on the second or third turn of the game, meaning he joins the ranks of things like Chamber and Moondragon of being sizably overstated 2 energy plays to start with, while you accelerate up into other big bombs like Red Hulk, Magneto, and Galactus first steps at the top end of your plays. This archetype also gets to play some really powerful interactive bits like Cosmic Ghost Rider, in addition to Legion that can completely steal games by swapping the entire board to a location that your opponent's not going to be ready for. Finally, Monstro seems like it'll be an excellent fit inside of the Hela reanimator decks, filling 2 different key roles this archetype was looking to clean up. The first is that Hela always lacks meaningful early game plays to make, and when one of your many 6s or your 7 is on top of your deck, Monstro can be deployed in the first couple turns of the game. The second is that Hela wants varied costs of higher powered things, since Hela can only reanimate 1 card of each different energy cost. This means that because Monstro technically has a base 8 cost, it's always going to get brought back into play without taking up a reanimate of one of your other more powerful 6 or 7 energy plays. I can't wait to dive on into all of the new cards this season, with Jeff the Baby Dolphin and Venus especially empowering some of the older cards in Marvel Snap that have fallen by the wayside that I absolutely love playing with personally. Remember, gamers, if you're going to be picking up the Baby Dolphin to start, make sure you do it at shop.marvelsnap.com so you get the most value for your dollar by getting that extra Series 5 snap pack along with your purchase. As always, I appreciate everybody that makes it all the way through to the end of my video. Shout out to Marvel Snap for having me on here on the main channel, and I hope your snap packs and your season are off to an excellent start.